Thank you. So, yes, my name is Brian Morrison. I'm with Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada. So, Agriculture Canada, who we are? Well, we are a branch of the federal government and essentially is mandated to provide information, research, policies, and programs to help Canada's agriculture, agri-food, and agri-based products sector compete both at home and abroad. Where we are, well, we have research centers all across Canada, right from St. John's to Agassiz. In addition to these research centers, we also have research farms and offices where, essentially scientists work in developing all sorts of different projects and to assist to help Canada's agriculture and agri-food sector. So I'm going to be kind of focusing on facility mapping. We started a program quite a few years ago. We had a bunch of GIS data for each of the facilities, and each facility kind of had doing their own little GIS. So we kind of wanted a project to aggregate some of this data and get it a little bit better organized, and to take some facility data and kind of take the stuff that is seen and unseen and bring it all together in a GIS. So that kind of meant identifying, what features are we trying to map. So if you think of a farm in the traditional sense, you've got a base map, typically a raster. You've got your farm production area, different fields where scientists are growing maybe growing some specialized crops. Cadastral type layer, usually like an administrative boundary. Obviously facilities such as grain silos, storage facilities, septic tanks. And then kind of the agribusiness side of things, you've got farms, you've got research centers, and even chemical storage facilities. So we took essentially this data for each of the farms, centralized it, standardized it, documented it, and the end result was the ability to create a kind of a single point for AFC staff to discover and access information about AFC real property and related infrastructure assets. So once we get this data standardized, centralized, we can start serving that out to facility managers in different formats. We can see some services here in 2D, at the bottom, an ArcGIS service, an ARC scene up at the top, right there, and in a more 3D sense, and as well as just, as old saying, everybody still loves a PDF. So, PDFs are still popular. They're great, and if you want to send something maybe to a contractor or something, and you don't want to send them a web address, just a simple PDF. So essentially, we have ESRI, ARC SDE datasets, feature classes, and kind of a range of datasets: a point, line, polygon, multi-patch, and raster catalog to hold the rasters for individual research centers. That's run through a ETL, and eventually, you get a nice 3D PDF. So just some screen snapshots here. Basically, I got a basic, kind of a standard flow of a feature class coming in. Data set gets a joiner. For me, I found if you have an Excel, I put mine in an Excel table that kind of controls the colors. So one central place, and then each feature is a myriad of different features is assigned a color, and then PDF styler associates the color to the FME color, and essentially, and it slightly gets a little quite often find just a little bit of an offset on some of the features. Otherwise, they kind of blend into the raster. We have buildings, both buildings that are internal within the administrative boundary, and then sometimes some of these research centers and are in more of an urban setting. So you'll see an example later. So we have buildings that are just on the outside, like just houses. So these buildings are extruded, and the imagery is kind of with a face replacer. It's kind of meshed with the top of the building, so that when you look at your building, you get the part of the image that's on the building actually rests on the building. And then you've got, within the building, you've got the building floors, just kind of, and then just a basic color scheme of structure types of, offices. Features are aggregated together based on their type and exported out as individual layers. Outside text generation, basically I got an administrative area. You take the coordinate, I took the coordinates of that, X, Y, and you can see it's, the southwest, southeast, and corners there, just for outside text placement. So you put in a label, and then you replace that label with the text, and just to give the user a little bit more information. So I'll try this here. So what do we get as a result? So this is an example of a research and development center in London, Ontario. I'm just going to drag this up. So the user can zoom in. You've got basic, you've got your field information there. Typically when you get a 3D PDF coming up here, you've got kind of a little bit of different features here. Parking lots, street features, text. You can kind of zoom around a little bit. And then you can kind of start elevating and moving around a little bit, showing your features at different angles. I mentioned the building. You can see the imagery has been kind of nicely draped on top of the building here, and the building has been extruded. When we turn that off, we just got basic building features, and certain elements that a facility manager might want to see, like where the fire exits are, where the handicap spaces are. You can kind of zoom around here. Even, zoom in here. You can get a little bit of a Canadian flag right here. So, yeah, it's about, just a different way of presenting your information. Then you can, just send that off as an email attachment, or, to a potential contractor, add in your own notes, and kind of gives you a different perspective on the data. It's, you can even, this is just within Adobe, you can kind of get, just unique perspectives on your data. You might not otherwise be able to see. And kind of nice with Adobe, you get the home button that takes you back to the beginning. So let's see here. My slideshow here. So just some, lessons learned from this. For simple point features, if you have ArcGIS installed, you can use the 3D character markers. It's kind of nice. They're not very big. They don't take up a lot of size. One of the things I found, especially when you get into 3D, and you start putting into PDFs, if you go to outside sources, you go to a place like SketchUp, you can get all sorts of models that are very detailed. You can put them in the PDF. However, the downside is it really increases your size of your PDF. And if your user, user might have a PDF, but it takes them 10 minutes to open it up, it's really not very useful. So just simple features sometimes are the best features. And yeah, the more complex the 3D features that are added, the greater the size of the PDF. And yeah, especially the raster size. Raster size is really important. I know FME, there's even you can't even select out, there's the raster band selector that you can select out certain bands. And because if your raster size is too big, nobody's gonna send that as an attachment to an email. So yeah, just a quick plug-in for opencanada.ca. So if you're ever interested in agriculture data sets, I encourage you to go there. It's a great place. There's a lot of data there, as well as web applications, drought monitor applications. And yeah, if you ever need agricultural data, feel free to go there and browse. All right. Thank you.